Hey guys, Nate the Film Nerd here. If you're a subscriber to my channel or if you've seen some of my previous videos, then you probably know me for my random movie reviews where I talk about basically any movie that I have an opinion on and that I want to share with you guys. But today I'm going to be doing something a little different, something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is do a reaction to something. I decided that I am going to do a reaction to the pilot episode of the Australian version of The Office. Something that's been very controversial over here in the States. When that trailer dropped and we saw it on YouTube, everybody, including myself, were like, oh boy, I don't know. This doesn't look particularly good. And if you have your dislike extension on your search engine turned on, you'll see that the dislikes that video received was a lot. And understandably, it didn't look very good. But hey, you know what? Sometimes trailers can be deceiving. I'm going to go in with an open mind. I should preface this by saying that I am a huge fan of both the American version of The Office and the British version. I love the British version of The Office a lot. I even like the show Ricky Gervais did after that, Extras. That show is amazing, and I highly recommend it. But, you know, The Office has been adapted and remade all over the world. There's been countries all over the world that have redone or done their own version of The Office because it's such a great premise for a show that I guess it translates worldwide. It has universal appeal. So I am going to go into this with an open mind. Obviously, I'm a bit skeptical because that trailer looked really rough. So who knows? Maybe this might pleasantly surprise me. Maybe it'll be terrible. We're gonna go into this together. So without further ado, let's jump in to the pilot episode of the Australian version of The Office. Oh, and for those wondering how am I able to watch this when the Australian version is not currently available in the US, the magical world of VPNs. God bless technology. Season 1, Episode 1, IRL. All right, I'm ready.
You know, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I don't want to go to work today. But then I remember these guys. I get excited, get that tingly feeling in my chest.
Right off the bat, I'm wondering, is her character going to be more influenced by Michael Scott, or is it going to be more of a David Brent type of character, or is it going to be a combination of both? I'm very curious to see what her character is going to be more influenced by. Is it going to be Michael Scott, David Brent, or both? I'm curious to see where that's going to go.
Safe to say that we all feel that. Morning, Lizzie.
Alicia just called to say that she's running 10 minutes late
For
your 10 a.m. meeting, which will now be at 10 past 10.
how many people do we have signed in today?
4. Johan's in the toilet. The rest are working from home.
Johnny, how many guys are on the floor today? Come in. Sorry, mate. Just firing off a big report. And sent. What can I do?
I am going to be keeping track of how many times I laugh out loud. In fact, I might put a little laugh counter in the corner of this video. And listen, I'm not gonna make myself not laugh. I'm also not gonna make myself laugh. Like, I'm gonna be as natural as I can with this. If this show earns a laugh, it will earn a laugh. I'm not an easy laugh. So if it's earned it, I will respond appropriately.
As you know, Hannah, we've been looking at attendance across the branches.
Well, you certainly don't need to worry about numbers here.
Is that Johnny from the warehouse?
No. What?
Well, we've reviewed our flexible work practices, and given the low attendance rates, Flinley Craddock can no longer justify the cost of our office spaces.
Yeah.
We're going to close the regional branches and everyone will go remote.
So what are we talking? Home detention? House arrest? What are we talking here?
Those people out there are like family to me, and I won't let you throw them out on the street.
I don't know who this actress is, but I did see a video of her doing some stand-up comedy after this trailer came out.
I've just had a baby, and 4 years ago, and still got him. How good is that? Haven't lost him once. Come on.
I'll just to say politely, her comedy is not the type of comedy that I respond to. I know we're only what 2 minutes into the show, and there's something about her performance. It's coming off a little forced. I'm having difficulty pinpointing like her performance in terms of it not feeling as genuine or as natural as it does like with Steve Carell with Michael Scott or with Ricky Gervais with David Brent. There's something about this that doesn't feel like the comedy isn't flowing the way she's performing this character. It just feels a little forced, a little contrived. But like I said, we're only 2 minutes in, so we got plenty more time to see where this goes.
I guarantee we can make a year's worth of rent by the end of next month.
$300,000.
300,000? Yes! Too easy.
That is Johnny from the warehouse.
What? Johnny, shame on you. Honestly, I don't know what's gotten into you guys. Not cool.
Okay. So far, nothing really. No laughs from me. We are laugh free. So kind of is what it is. Also, I'm going to see if like some of the side characters in this, like the rest of the cast, I'm going to try to compare them to the American version. Like who's the Dwight character in this, or who's the Jim character, or the Kevin, or the Stanley, or the Meredith.
Pile in. Yep. Oh, there he is, Marty HR. Look out.
Ooh, HR. Is this the Toby character, perhaps?
Yeah. What an absolute pleasure it is to look out and see a room full of smiling faces.
See, the joke there was that she said there were a bunch of smiling faces, and when the camera looked at all the faces, none of them were smiling. I think that's the joke there. That is a joke.
Sebastian started with us last week on a 3-month unpaid internship on loan from Macleay Business College. And I think I speak for everyone when I say it's nice to have some new blood in the office. Some fresh blood.
I started.
Maybe, so I mentioned that there should be a laugh counter. So maybe I'll put a laugh counter in the corner and then maybe a cringe counter in the other corner. We just got our first cringe. The vampire thing was cringe. So that's 1 in the cringe column. So I'll keep track. We got 1 in the cringe column, 0 in the laugh column. Okay. Let's keep it going. Who's this guy? Is this a Jim maybe?
She's been doing that vampire shtick for over 7 years.
Can I sit
Yeah.
down? Thanks.
Yeah, by all means. And thirdly, the big news.
You know, for the record, the UK version, which I adore, but it is a very different type of comedy from the American version overall. The UK version is also cringe, but it's cringe and comedy hand in hand. So you can be both. You can have the cringe and you can have the comedy, and it works. But so far, just based on the little I've seen of this already, the cringe and the comedy are worlds apart. And I have only seen cringe, and we are, good Lord, we're only 5 minutes into this. God, this is good. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
It's a lockout, Lloyd, as specified on the phone call.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, just let him in, Liz.
But it's a lockout.
Yeah, just let him in.
I know that actor.
Wait.
G'day.
Oh my God. That's the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, the movie. Oh, what was his character's name? Now I got to look it up. Deacon. It's Deacon from What We Do in the Shadows when he was doing an erotic dance for his friends. I absolutely love What We Do in the Shadows, and I love the TV show also with Matt Berry, and the TV show is awesome. Anyway, he's funny. I know he's funny because What We Do in the Shadows is absolutely hilarious. He is one of the best parts about that movie. So if I'm going to get any laughs from this, my feeling is it's going to be from him. Fingers crossed.
The good news is we are all back in the office full time.
That's not good news.
This isn't the good news. This is the bad news that I forgot to tell you earlier. The bad news, Alicia comes in this morning and tells me that head office are forcing us to come back to the office full-time, effective immediately. What? She set new productivity targets, $300,000, by the end of next month.
Wait, what was the good news?
The good news is that now we can do TGIF Friday trivia quiz IRL.
What's IRL? This is IRL. In real life.
As much as
Okay, so that's 2. That is 2 in the cringe counter, 0 in the comedy counter, and I don't want to watch this anymore.
Sorry, what was that? Yeah, could you just give me 1 second? Sorry, thank you. Hey, what's going on
Oh,
with all this?
she's the Dwight
I'm
character.
trying to find a
Just put some headphones in.
No, Nick, I couldn't because how could I concentrate with that in my ear?
Okay, so she's obviously the Dwight character and the receptionist. You know, Pam was the receptionist, or Dawn was the receptionist in the UK version. So is there a Pam Dawn equivalent in this? We will see. He's clearly playing the Jim character because they're already trying to have a comedic back and forth. It's not funny, but there's an attempt there. So A for effort?
Can we just put some headphones in?
No, Nick, I couldn't because how could I concentrate with that in my ear?
Yeah, how could you concentrate with that in your ear?
He just tried to do the look in the camera, the Jim look. He tried to do it. Didn't work.
How you make me do this?
Nick, give me back my Tassie devil.
I'll give your devil back when you stop making those annoying noises.
I don't negotiate with terrorists. Nick is a joke. He is a mess around.
Should I also have an eye roll counter? And also, as far as like a prank goes, that's pretty lame. Just taking in the first episode of both the UK version and the American version, friggin', you know, Jim put Dwight Stapler in a thing of Jell-O. That's a prank. That's pretty good. Just taking a toy, like that's, maybe I'm judging too soon.
The perks of coming to work. Riling up.
Oh,
Lizzie,
is this the Pam?
Rile up Lizzie. Flirting. Who doesn't flirt at work?
oh, hola, cómo estás? Muy bien. Yep. You're in charge of making that 300K, and I'm in charge of staff morale, sort of like a good cop, bad cop. Yeah.
I'm on the toilet.
Yeah, that's very clever.
There's not enough fibre in my diet.
Don't get a hemorrhoid. Don't get a hemorrhoid.
All right, that's
Whoa, what's going on? Hey,
I am increasing productivity in the workplace
I've taken away my chair.
by introducing standing desks.
Did you know about this?
Sitting is the new smoking, Nick.
I thought vaping was new smoking.
okay. TGIF Friday IRL.
Oh, was
Let's
that-
just throw around.
Was that whole scene an attempt to? I didn't even know. I honestly was confused. I was like, "Is this? What is he doing? Is he's trying to get a whiteboard? And why is that scene being drawn out?" And that was an attempt at comedy. Okay, legitimately didn't know that.
I am the head of IT. Well, it's just a department of one. I'm it. IT.
Looks like someone's selling office chairs today.
Oh my god, that's my chair. Yeah, so basically,
Yeah.
sheets are kind of, yeah, so the different sizes of the boxes.
Okay, that's
Is female Dwight trying to pull a prank on
Hey.
Jim? I don't know what's going on.
So she did suggest that we could go remote as well, right?
Oh, I don't want to get into semantics, Mum.
Yeah, but that was an option. That is a legitimate option.
What does semantics actually mean? I'm just going to have a little look at the definition.
This is obviously taking place post-pandemic, and the employees here had the option to work home, but the female Michael Scott was like, no, I love my employees, so we're going to bring them into the office anyway. Oh, boy. Not very likable. But you know what? That's not a point against the show, because both, obviously, David Brent and Michael Scott both had their periods as well as being not likable. So that's not against the show, but what is against the show is that it's not funny so far. And we're more than halfway through, so just nothing.
I noticed she didn't set a reserve for the auction.
Oh, that's an oversight.
Sorry, mate.
Okay, so she's selling the chair on eBay, and she's taking pictures of herself because Australian. I'm just going to call them. I don't know the characters' names. They probably said them, but I didn't connect. So I'm just going to call them Australian Jim and Pam. So the plot line there is that are they trying to prank the female Dwight that she's trying to sell the chair, or is that a prank, or what is the point of this plot line? What's the end game here? I guess we'll find out, but it's kind of confusing because it's not funny, and if it's a prank, it's not a prank. It's not a good prank. So what is going on with that plot line?
Somebody who will remain nameless walked into my office and accused me of lying. Wow. Am I a liar? Nope. I'm a truth bender. I'm a truth masseuse, if you will.
What truth did you bend exactly?
Nice, Greta. Straight to the point. Love that.
Another in the cringe counter. Tally it up. Put it in the cringe.
Alicia actually came in threatening to close down the office and send you all home. But I fought for your rights and negotiated a deal in which we all get to stay.
Why didn't you tell us?
Because I love you. And I was protecting you.
From who?
From yourselves.
Nope, don't like that.
I am definitely a homebody. I love cooking, I love gardening, but I wouldn't want to commit to never coming into the office. There are things that I definitely miss.
Well, it's complicated because working from home makes a lot of sense. More time to watch YouTube videos of baby pygmy hippos. But by going to the office, there are things to look forward to. You have that feeling of yeah, I get to see everyone today.
Was that their attempt of being like, oh, these two characters like each other? The show's already done a terrible job trying to build a romantic chemistry between these two, because there was no romantic sign between these two characters until that scene we just saw them talking to the camera. They didn't do any build up to that at all until that very moment. And it's like, it just feels, contrived. The chemistry between Jim and Pam is natural. You need to have that chemistry, and you also need to establish that beforehand, and that was very poorly established in my opinion.
I need to buy the chairs back, but I've just sold them to some clown for $3.
Oh yeah, that was Nick.
I'll sell them back to you for $4, but under one condition.
What's the condition?
I get to be quizmaster.
This is so bad. This really is very bad. I'll do my best to save my thoughts at the end.
Now this week I have decided to let Nick have a go at being quizmaster. So now I'm going to make him the host, and I absolve all responsibility forthwith.
So this is clearly a callback to the British version of The Office, where there's an episode where they do a quiz. But in that version, they go to a bar outside of work to do the quiz, and here they're doing, I guess, kind of the pandemic take on that via Zoom calls.
You know what I'm talking about, Nick?
Hey, baby girl.
Oh, it's that must be the Australian Roy.
Sorry, Nick, can you repeat the question? It's just a bit loud in here.
What matters to me the most? Is it the money? Nope. Is it the power?
It's the people.
Nope. Most important? The people.
Okay.
One day later.
All right, here I am the next day. I watched that episode last night. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sleep on it. Okay, so that was bad. Where do we even begin? Let's begin with the overall plot of the episode. So the plot of the episode revolved around this company being in the post-pandemic People have been working remotely, and the company's been like, well, because we have low attendance at a lot of these buildings, we can't justify paying the rent for these buildings. So for the branches that have low attendance, we're just going to have those employees work remotely, and we'll just sell off the building or not use the building anymore. It feels like somewhat of a twist on the plot of the first episodes of both the UK and American version, but in those versions, the company was being downsized, and the bosses had to try to spin that in a way that was positive so that the employees wouldn't hate them. So the version that the Australian office went with has no stakes. There's no stakes in that plot line because it's like, well, the employees still have their job. They're just going to be working at home, which, by the way, is way better than working in some crummy office building. You could say that the closest thing to stakes that was established in this episode is that the boss needs to try to come up with the rent money from the building if she wants people to keep working at the building, which is $300,000, I think, by the end of the month. But once again, if she fails at that, everybody just goes home and works remotely and keeps their job. So once again, not really any stakes. So there's no stakes to the story. The only stakes that the story tries to come up with is from the Michael Scott character in the show. You know what? I'm just gonna look up the character's name. Hannah Howard. Is that her name? Didn't guess that once. Played by Felicity Ward. We're gonna get into her performance. The only stakes that the plot tries to have is that she wants people to come to work because she likes being at work and she loves these people. And you know, they're trying to do the character trait that both David Brent and Michael Scott had, is that they want to be liked. So I can understand that, but yeah. So that was so the plot didn't really have any stakes. Then there's the plot line of the Jim, Pam, and Dwight character, played by a woman, and something about trying to get rid of office chairs to increase productivity, and then selling the office chairs online. I think that was their attempt at trying to do some like prank that was very Jim and Dwight in spirit, but that did not come across that way. It felt so like random, and it felt pointless because it wasn't funny, it wasn't comedic, it wasn't a good prank. I don't know what the hell that plot line was. It was just felt completely useless. This whole episode felt completely useless. Why are they? This whole reboot feels completely useless. Why are they doing this? Okay, let's get into the performances. I mean, outside of Felicity Ward, everybody else was just kind of there. I don't really, it's not that their performances were bad per se, but like they clearly didn't have anything to work with, the actors, given the material that was written for them. And as far as Felicity Ward's performance, like I mentioned as I was watching it, she's trying too hard to be the goofy, oddball, obnoxious character. Whereas if you compare it to Michael Scott or David Brent, you don't get the sense that they're trying to be those characters. They simply are those characters. And with Felicity Ward, she's trying really hard to be that character, and it feels forced and phony, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't translate, and it's just aggressively unfunny. It's annoyingly unfunny. And like I mentioned, the UK version in particular can be cringy, it can be annoying, but it's funny with all of that stuff. That's kind of what makes Ricky Gervais's comedy very unique, is the way he kind of brings in the cringe factor, and it just contributes to the humor. It's a hard thing to pull off when you think about it. I think the Australian version is trying to lean more towards the cringy aspect, a la the UK version, and it's just all cringe and no comedy. And then one of the bigger issues is that there's no edge to the comedy. There's no kind of questionable material, which is essential to both the American and the UK office. It's like, it's not just that the bosses are obnoxious. It's that they're constantly inappropriate in a way. It's like, oh no, you can't be doing that, right? That adds a lot to the cringy comedy. This show doesn't even try to go in that area. It's trying to be very unoffensive as possible. And it's like, then why even bother with this remake? So yeah, am I going to continue to watch this show? It really depends on how well this video does. I think I would be okay with just stopping it here, but I'll let you guys decide if you enjoyed this reaction. This was a unique experiment for me. I would like to do other reactions in the future to possibly to movies that I've never seen before, since I am a film nerd, but there's still a lot of films that I haven't seen yet. I think that would be really fun, but yeah, this was a unique experience, putting it politely. Let me know what you guys thought of this in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching.